The difference between being sexually successful and not is simply a matter of setting up your life to be in the right place at the right time with the right person more often. I don't deal a lot with single guys. I mostly prefer men in relationships. But this is something that I cannot believe needs to be said. I've talked on my newsletter, I've talked on my blog, I've talked on my podcast, and given speeches about logistics. Men, we create our own luck. For me, during my days when I was doing pickup, it was a series of decisions that I had to make. Instead of moving out to the suburbs to buy larger real estate at a cheaper price like a lot of my coworkers, I bought a small, crappy little condo in a quiet part of town that was a 10-minute walk from the bars and the coffee shops I frequented. This was important. If I was drinking, and I was waiting for a cab with a girl for 20 minutes while it's 3 a.m, freezing, that would kill date night. I used to go to a lounge, often. During those days when I do 9 holes of pitch and putt with my buddies in between sales, I tipped the bartender well. There was Jade, an Aussie girl. I would show up on the weekends, and it was packed. Girls were always intrigued about the guys who had the staff that was so friendly towards them, comping drinks. They invited us to drinks after closing time. Great social proof, man. In fact, I think I still have the manager's number in my cell phone. Assuming it's still the right one. I haven't talked to her in like a decade. Her name was Shelby. I had a roommate, a wonderful girl who could drink me under the table and open up a group like nobody else. I had a few wingmen who were focused on their love life on the weekend, same as me. They had their own logistics in order, and whenever we went out, things would just happen. That's huge, guys. Women use the phrase, "it just happened," like it offered them a discount at Sephora. For women, it always just happens, because for them, it does. All they know is that they walk into a place, make themselves available, some guy walks up to them and starts chatting them up. She feels something. Interest, curiosity, anxiety. They go to grab a shawarma. They go back to his place because it's easier than catching an Uber when they're outside the bar district waiting in that huge lineup. Besides, she can go on a walk and learn more about the dude. All of it, from start to finish, just happened. For her. For him, it appeared effortless. It may even be effortless, but behind the scenes, a ton of work had to happen before things would just happen. And here's the point. You gotta start putting some effort into your life circumstance if you want to have a better result. If you're in your 20s and still living at home, then you deserve the romanceless existence you've received. Yes, I know houses are expensive. Now trust me, I've lived in 2 housing bubbles in my time. I know what it's like to spend most of your money on mortgages or rent or being almost priced out of the housing market. But when I first started out, I grabbed a 3-bedroom townhome in a crappy part of town and had 5 roommates. It sucked. It sucked bad. But we were living on our own. And I will tell you this. It is easier to bring a girl to your house when she knows your wife isn't home than when she knows your mom isn't. Roommates? Roommates are a breeze. If you have anyone that could stand you, they are more than happy to make themselves scarce for an hour while you bring someone home to see your fish. And if you don't know the "I gotta go home and feed my fish" routine, ask somebody who ran game back in the 2000s. I've had this conversation many times before. I tell a guy to move out if he doesn't like his love life. He tells me it's expensive. I tell him then you need to get enough roommates for it to be economically viable. He tells me that he needs money for his PhD program and it starts in a year. And I tell him if you're looking to be a doctor just to be able to meet women, I can save you 8 years and $100,000 by telling you to move out of your parents' place and just start approaching. And this is more than just about meeting girls too. It's about self-respect. It's about dignity and comfort. Well, discomfort. I'll watch the same kid read all day about the Stoics argue with me how expensive it is to rent in a city. He doesn't discuss moving to a cheaper place. He doesn't discuss getting a friend to move in or any other solution. Nope. It's just, there's the problem, and it's the end of discussion. Now, do you honestly see this as the kind of guy who has the problem solving and risk tolerance to be able to make an engaging night that just happened? And sure, you can tell me you don't care about women, which is fine. And I best not be seeing you arguing with a thought on her Instagram doing what thoughts do. Letting guys slide into her DMs and it just happened. That's how I know guys care. People who care get hurt. People who care get angry. People who care cope with all manner of, wink wink, alternatives to dating. Either silicone-based, cam-based, bathwater-based, or worst yet, that I want to be my best possible self. Sure. You want to be your best possible self, yet you refuse to see how being able to handle one of the only basic biological functions that humans have with any sort of competence? Come on. You can sell yourself snake oil, but don't ask others to drink it. The kind of man who can put himself in a position for things to just happen for the woman that he's interviewing for a spot on his Bachelor Red Pilled edition, that's the kind of man who can take risks in business, in education, in investments, in relationships, etc. The man who is always on a slow burn to get started is going to wake up one day, be 30, have no idea what a woman smells like, and be lamenting on Twitter about how we need to return to the traditional conservative lifestyle, which is required in order for him to salvage his sex life. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but don't expect the world to become a bunch of Luddites because you didn't think grabbing a few roommates and moving close to where the action is was a worthwhile use of your valuable time. I had a post on this back on my old blog. I called it The Duck. And like the duck, you're calm up top, but kicking up like a madman underneath. So, don't be ashamed that sexual fulfillment is one of, if not the main motivator either. Humans have very few instinctive drives. We got eating, we got comfort, we got water, we got women, and we got dark coffee. It's like ground shark coffee. Damn delicious. No one shames a hungry man for learning to cook. So that's something to think about when Susan, the middle-aged soccer mom in HR, and Kevin, that nerdy incel in IT, decide to crap all over you for making even the slightest change in your life circumstance because you got a king-size bed and a twin-size body. And you hear the arguments. Oh, it's groveling. It's pussy begging for scraps. That makes you a misogynist Nazi Weinstein. Instead, you need just to sit there, be yourself, and let things happen. I laugh, man. The guy who's not sexually successful has no frame of reference to even talk about things, so we can ignore him. Imagine if a fisherman started asking a fish on how to become a better fisherman. Not only would the fish have no clue on how the hook got there, but any advice the fish gave would involve them never ending up on your boat in the first place. So I guess we need to start working on our logistics then. And this matters just as much, if not more so, once you're in a relationship and you're living together. As much as you want to think that you shouldn't have to put in this kind of effort anymore, girls are always going to like being chased. And they tend to put in better effort when you start giving them more chances to let things just happen. Yeah, I get it. You got kids, you got a mortgage, you got a girl that lives with you, she doesn't dress up. All these kind of things in your way. These are the exact same kind of arguments that these sexually frustrated guys are making while single. You've just made it when you have a girl in the house thinking that makes you exempt. There's always logistics to work on to make sure things are working out more often than not. On that note, I'm going to call this one. Thank you guys for tuning in this far. And we'll catch you guys later. Cheers. A lot of what we discuss isn't socially acceptable. In this age of social media, you have to be careful. Luckily, we have a tight group of men in our Patreon, and we take off the filters so that we can speak frankly with each other, swap notes, and improve in the ways that matter to us. Check out the link in the description. For a couple bucks a month, you can have exclusive access to this stuff in its raw form and more. Plus, those awesome guys are the only reason we can keep putting out these videos.